By the end of this video, knowing what key a particular song or piece is in should never be your problem again as a beginner or intermediate violinist. Let's get straight into that. If this is your first time on this channel, I give beginner and intermediate violinists the secrets, tools, music lesson, music tutorials, popular song tutorials they need to take their playing to that next level. So if you would be interested in that, this is the time to hit that subscribe button right there and be a part of the channel family. Let's get straight into this one. If you've not seen the first couple of videos we did on music theory, simplifying music theory and making it as easy as possible while you're still retaining the same information. If you've not seen those, I'm going to do a quick recap right here. However, you could check those right there and then come to this one, but you could use this recap and then move further in this one. So let's do that. So we talked about staff, 5 lines and 4 spaces where we're going to be writing our music, signs, characters and symbols to make music. That's a treble clef, we know all this stuff. And second line of the treble clef is line G, and from that we can get other alphabets A, B, C. We've done all that stuff. Time values as well, whole note, 4 count, half note, quarter note, 8 notes. We've done this as well. We also talked about time signature. For example, if we have 3, 4, take the up number to be the number of count or beats to be in each of the bars. So this is going to be 3, and take the lower number to be the type of notes. 3 quarter note beat, since we have a 4 on that. If we had 3, 2, that would have been 3 half note beat. Always take the lower number as though it's a fraction or though it's not. Right? That way you're gonna know what type of note, how many of what type of note should be in each of those measures. So that's it for time signature. Just a quick recap of what we did in the previous 2 lessons. Also, we talked about how the instrument relates to the staff. Say we have our strings E, A, D, and G on the violin. First finger, second finger, third finger, and little finger. We said this second space of the staff is string A, this last space is E, this space right under the staff is D, and below 2 ledger lines we have our G. And we also laid out where we have the fingers on the staff and so on. So if you've not seen those, you could check that video, or if you understand this, good. Let's move it further for today. Good. So today we're going to be looking at accidentals and key signatures. First of all, accidentals are signs we draw on the staff that alter the pitch of a note. So for example, you might have seen this sign that looks like number sign on the staff before. You might have seen this before. We're going to explain what they do as well. So this is called a sharp. This is a sharp. This is called a flat, and this is called a natural. So these are the 3 accidentals I want you to take note of, right? A sharp increases the pitch of a note by a half step. A flat does the opposite, decreases the pitch of a note by half step. I'm going to explain just now. A flat restores the pitch of a note, right? So in music, the shortest distance in pitch between 2 notes is what we call a half step, right? Especially in the Western music. Right, so let's say these are half steps, right? From here to here is a half step. So if we put a sharp in front of a note, it's going to increase the pitch of that note by a half step. See pitch as staircases too. So you could gradually go up do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and so on moving forward. So see pitches to be that way. You're going to understand sharps and flat much better that way. Good. So take note. Sharp increases the pitch, half step. Flat reduces the pitch of a note by a half step. Natural cancels out the effect of a sharp or a flat. And these accidentals affect within 1 measure of the staff. Good. So for example, we know that this is our space A. So if you put a sharp here, every A in that space is not going to be A again. It's going to be A sharp. Let's say this is our A. On the instrument, when we put a sharp to a note, we're going to raise that note by a half step. So this is our A. We know first finger on the A string is B, right? But it's going to be behind that B, which is like raising this open A string by a half step. So that's our A sharp right there. So every A in that bar or measure is now an A sharp. What if we want a regular A? What we're going to do? We have to cancel it out with an effect of it with the natural sign. So this is going to be A sharp. Any note we write is going to be A sharp. If we want a normal A, we cancel it with that natural sign, and then that becomes A again. Good. So accidentals like this affect just 1 measure, so they're not going to exceed this measure. So let's say we did not have this natural sign here, they're all going to be A sharps. But once we get to this next measure, they're going to return back to A, because accidentals affect just one measure, right? That's very important to note as we're going to differentiate those from key signature just now. Good. So these are your accidentals in music: sharp, flat, and natural. Sharp increases the pitch half step, flat does the opposite, natural restores the pitch of a note. Good. Let's move on to key signature and differentiating accidentals from key signature. Let's do that. Right. So having understood that accidentals are the sign that alter the pitch of a note, could either raise it half step or reduce it a half step. The next thing for you to know is key signature. So key signature are a group of accidentals placed at the very beginning of the staff, right? So let's say we have one sharp here and another sharp here. Right, these are no longer going to be considered accidentals. These are going to be key signatures because they are at the very beginning of the staff, and these affect every of that particular note in the staff, not just one bar. Right, so for example, this sharp right here is on space C, right? So if you count up from what we've learned so far, every C in this staff, not just this measure, not just this one, every C in this staff is going to be C sharp, right? That's why we refer to this as key signature. And we have this one right here on line F, which means every F in the music, no matter where it is, you know we have an F right there too. If we do our counting, this is G. If we go back, that's F from what we've learned. Every F in the music is going to be an F sharp, right? And remember, F sharp is our second finger on the D string, right? And F is very close to E and so on. Just showing you how it applies practically on the violin as well. Good. So that's it for key signature. Key signatures affect every of that note that they are placed on in the staff. What if somewhere down the road we want a C and not a C sharp? What do you think we're gonna do? We would have to cancel that with an effect of a natural sign. But it's going to be within just that measure. If you want it for the next measure, you have to put another natural sign. Or else, after that measure, it's going to go back to C sharp. Because key signatures are more powerful than when you're using them just as accidentals. That's how I wanted to see it. How to differentiate them: accidentals affect just one measure, while key signatures affect the whole staff. The next thing to do now is the most important part, which is knowing how many sharps or how many flats go for which particular key. So for example, let's say you see 2 sharps on the music, you should know that that's in key of D. And having known our D major scale and all that stuff, we should be able to play it comfortably. So I'm going to give you a cool table which we're going to use to remember the sharp keys and the flat keys. I would want you to go study that table after I put it here on the board. So let's do that. Before we go any further, this message is for persons that have gotten a violin and are self-teaching themselves at home, watching YouTube videos to teach yourself. That's very good. You've made the first good move to get the instrument and to start practicing to develop your craft. But the next thing for you to do now is to get a method that actually gives you result. 1 or 2 YouTube videos might help you fix something, but if you're looking for a method that holds your hand stepwise from getting the instruments to mastery of it, I've compiled the same method and strategy I use for my students in person in a very short course. It's going to be available in the description for you to get on. It's going to hold your hand from the very first day of the instrument, what you should do every step of the way, which I think is more important than you not knowing what to do and then going online looking for videos to watch, which is good, but most of the time is not graduated that way, right? To make sure that every step of the way you're given the right information. So if you're learning by yourself, you just got the instrument, I strongly recommend you check out the course. It's going to be right there in the description. You're going to thank me later once you get on this. Let's get back into the video. Right, so on this board you have your sharp keys. So here we have number of sharps. Here we have the key that number of sharp is letting us know we're in, and then we have the notes affected by that sharp or those sharps. Here's a cool mnemonic we use to remember the notes affected, which I'm going to recommend you memorize. So fat cat, go down, Alice eating birds. If you can memorize that, it's going to solve a lot of problems for you moving forward. Good. So for example, if we have 1 sharp on the music, know that we're in key of G, and that sharp alone is affecting the note F, right? So every F in that music is going to be F sharp. So in key of G, we have just F sharp to play. Every other note stays the same. If we have 2 sharps, we're in key of D, and those sharps are affecting F and C. So in this case, it's in odd, right? So it's not just C. It's going to be cumulative on this other side of things. So be mindful of that. 3 sharps, we're in key of A major. Remember, these are major keys, and the sharps are going to be affecting F, C, and G. Fat, cat, go. This is the order of sharps, right? It's very important to memorize them in that order. Good. So starting off, you could pick just 1 or 2, right, and study it, play around with it. As you move forward and you start using keys, you're going to see 4 sharps and don't have to think about it. You're going to know that in key of E, and for key of E major, we have F, C, G, and D as sharps. Good. So these are your sharp keys. The next one and the last one we're going to do today is going to be your flat keys, right? So just like you study your sharp keys, you should study your flat keys as well. If you've not subscribed, this is another opportunity for you to hit that subscribe button right there, because more content like this, not just theory, we have tutorials, we have secrets, we have tips, tricks, and all those fun stuff to take your violin playing to that next level. If you're part of this channel, all that are going to be accessible to you. So hit that subscribe button so you're notified anytime we put up a video, which is going to be every week, right? So let's get back into the last part for today, which is going to be our flat keys. Right, so this next table here, these are your flat keys, your major flat keys. So just like we did with the other ones, number of flat, the keys we're in, and the notes affected. Same thing is going to be cumulative on this side of things as well. So if we have 1 flat on this tab, just 1 flat on the music, we're in key of F major, right? Major keys. And that flat is affecting the note B. So every B in that music is going to be B flat. So instead of having your first finger on the note B, instead of having that usual first finger, we're going to do a B flat, which means we take that finger down by a half step. Remember what we said, right? So half step is just like a small movement, right? When it comes to the string, you're going to get that better when you start using it practically. Good. If we have 2 flats, we're in key of B flat, and the flats are affecting B and E. So if you could remember this mnemonic, I don't know how true this mnemonic is, but it's very, very useful and easy to remember. Boys eat and don't get clean first. So those are your order of flats. These are your flat keys. These are the number of flats. Good. So the next thing for you to do now, if you're at home learning, so like I mentioned to you, it's going to be very, very important you have a more structured and detailed plan for learning this instrument, right? Not just 1 or 2 videos here and there. So I strongly recommend you go in the description, not just music theory. You have popular songs in this program, the songs you really want to play. I'm talking about songs that other persons know, which I know this is very, very important to persons learning, because I have students in person and every now and then they want to play something familiar. So we've brought in this familiar song also with the basic things you need to know in that program. So check it right there in the description. You do not want to miss this. So go straight in the description and get on that. You can watch any of the other videos coming up right now. Go do the work, and I'll see you here in the next video.